Do you ever reflect what a peculiar thing it is that we do at this point in the service? Our worship is unique as it is, but at this particular point, we have been standing and listening and worshiping and singing, and now we all sit down and one person stands up and talks. Why? Yeah, of course, we're used to it. It's natural for us. Sometimes we like it, sometimes we don't, but we're familiar with this. It's a bit of a break. We get to sit down, bend our knees, maybe close our eyes and take a nap. But if we think about it, it's strange. It must be strange for you who sit here listening to me, and it is surely strange for me. Believe it or not, I don't like to be the center of attention. I was reading recently, and another priest, or maybe a pastor, I don't remember, he was reflecting on what is the purpose of a sermon. What should the goal of a preacher be? And he said, it ought to be to comfort those who are afflicted and to afflict those who are comfortable. That's supposed to be funny. But the point is perhaps worth noting. We come into the church, and sometimes we are deeply grieved. We are mourning. We are afflicted. We are troubled. We are worried about 1,000 things. We have lost something or someone. We weep. We are afflicted. And we seek to hear from God, through the voice of the one who preaches, some word of comfort. I have been in that place before. Surely all of you know what it is to come to the church seeking some comfort. This is a good reason to come. And then there is the other. Sometimes we come to the church and we are already comfortable. We like our life. We like our car, we like our clothes, we like our house, we like our electronics, we like the people around us and the way that they think of us. We like the reputation that we have. We are comfortable, at ease in ourselves and with those around us. And that's maybe what we don't look for, but perhaps we should. To come into the church seeking maybe not to be afflicted. I think that's a joke. But to be moved, to be jolted out of the rut that we are in. For surely we all have this experience as well, that what begins as comfort, as ease, becomes very soon boring. Am I wrong? It seems almost a truism, a cliche. As soon as we say, life is good now, 2 weeks later we'll be like, and what am I going to do now? I'm bored. It can be good to be moved, to be urged to grow. So far, I'm only remembering before I was the preacher, when I was sitting in the pews, what were good things to seek. The burden of finding something worthwhile to say then rests on me. But if we think of it in those terms, to comfort those who are afflicted, and not to afflict, but to move, to offer some aid to growth for those who are comfortable. These seem good goals for the preacher. We should note that oftentimes those who are afflicted and those who are comfortable are one and the same. And it is so that we see in the gospel today. Zacchaeus, this tax collector, from the outside looked to be very, very, very comfortable. He was wealthy. He had a reputation. People were afraid of him, but he had a reputation. They knew not to mess with Zacchaeus, or else he'd bring down the hammer of the tax hard. So he was secure. He was safe. And yet, too, we see he was afflicted. He was lonely. The knowledge of the sins he had committed to gain this wealth weighed heavily upon him. And he came to the crowd that day as Jesus came by, perhaps not knowing clearly what he sought. I doubt if you asked him, Zacchaeus, what are you looking for today? I doubt he could have said anything so clear as, I seek to find comfort for my affliction and affliction for my comfort. It's too clever by half and a little bit too much self-knowledge. But he knew he sought something. He could have stayed in bed that morning, but he did not. He got up. He went to the crowd. He asked what was going on. They said, Jesus is coming. And he tried to see, but he was short. So he climbed a tree. He knew what he wanted, at least so far as he wanted to see Jesus. So he pursued it. He climbed the tree. And the Lord said words of comfort, first of comfort to him. He simply said, Zacchaeus, come down. I'm coming to your house today. Not what he expected, but what he needed. And because he accepted it, because he took the Lord to his house and fed him, he chose it. He decided to want that. And the Lord gave him comfort. He treated him as a human being where others were afraid of him. And we don't know if the Lord said something, some word of gentle correction. Perhaps there was no need. The man's conscience afflicted him. But at the end of the meal, he stands up and says, Lord, I'm going to give half my goods to the poor. And if I've defrauded anyone, if I cheated anybody, if I took anything that was not mine by right, I'm going to give it back to them, and 4 times. And it's amazing because the Lord didn't have to say anything. But after Zacchaeus repents, after he says what he's going to say, what he's going to do, then the Lord says, today salvation has come to this house. For truly the Son of Man comes to seek and to save the lost. So, I'm gone past my time. One of those things the preacher tries to do is keep himself within time limits. So let us be brief. As we conclude, Zacchaeus is a model for all of us. We are very comfortable, and yet we are all afflicted. As we come to the church, as we come to see Christ, let us seek for what we need. Let us seek to be moved, to find growth, to let go of the things that hold us back. And let us seek the comfort that the Lord gives to us in our affliction and in our brokenness. And in this mind, in this heart, with this purpose, let us stand and let us continue the liturgy.